Spider going to your houses and the shrimp still don't peel.
Oh my God, bruh.
I slept probably 20 hours a day. I didn't eat at all because, there's no bidets in prison.
And welcome, everyone, to the Group Chat Podcast. It's now time for everybody's favorite segment. It's now the not Mott's Mailbag, sponsored by Lafourche Concert and Events Club. We couldn't appreciate Kyle and the folks there at the Lafourche Concert and Events Club more for their support. If you have a mailbag question, find us at Group Chat Podcast on Facebook. Every Monday or Tuesday or so, we usually post a little thread there, collect some of your questions. Or you could just shoot one of us a text or whatever. Just find a way to get your question to us. We've got a bunch of them here. We'll lead off with our Little Debbie winner, Marcus from LCO. What is the GOAT of backyard toys? Marcus wants to know.
So I got to tell you, last week, ashamed of my performance. I'm actually prepared today. My favorite, I'm not saying is the GOAT. It's just me, right? That's what we're here for, to give opinions. The battery-operated ride-along vehicles were my favorite toy. Probably because it didn't require any physical activity, and I was a 400-pound 5-year-old. I had the Bigfoot version of the monster truck type of version, as well as a Jeep Wrangler. Those are my two favorites.
So Marcus was suggesting that it was a Nerf football. Marcus, I'll do you one better. I liked the Nerf football that had the little airplane thing on the back of it. I remember that. It was an orange Nerf football that had a whistle in it. So when you threw it, it whistled.
Vortex ball?
Yeah, that was legit. That was a big one in the neighborhood. But I'll change the question around and not go from backyard toys. What's the thing where we would put the little basketball in the thing and shoot it, and the goal would be revolving, and it would keep score? What was that called? A hot shot?
Pop shot or something?
Pop shots. I was big into that. And then I also was a big Karate Fighters mark, too. I know that's not backyard toys, but those were some of my.
Okay, this might show my age again, but
Jacks.
Lawn darts.
What?
Does anybody remember lawn darts?
No.
These big darts with pointy metal tips. It was heavier on the tip side, so you would be from far away, kind of like the beanbag toss that they play at the youth center, whatever that's called.
Cornhole,
kind of like that, but with darts, and you just launching it across the yard, and there was a little ring on the other side. You were going to try to make it in the ring. It's banned because it was so dangerous, but it was cool toys.
Okay, on that same line, and when you just said dangerous at Spark, how in the hell did they let us do archery at junior high school?
That's still a thing now.
How's that a thing? Literally, I could take that thing and point it at somebody and just blast them right there. I get it. It's not all the way sharp. It's sharp enough to go through that target. How is that allowed?
I never thought about that.
Do they still do turkey shoots at Lafourche?
Bro, you can't bring a pocket knife or nothing, which, hey, rightfully so. I'm not saying that you should be able to have one, but we're able to shoot bows and arrows at people. Come on, man.
Another good backyard toy. Shout out to my brother Robert. He built a Flintstone mobile. Actually built a vehicle probably when he was about 15 years old, and we used to ride it around the yard. It was not motor operated, but it could be pulled. It's pretty awesome.
You're an old man, bro. Golly. Coon from Back Vachery wants to know, true or false, nobody eats the corn after seafood boil.
So I use the corn as a method to ice down the boil and just cool down the water so the crawfish or crabs or whatever could soak up the seasoning. And there's always corn left, no matter what. Nobody eats that. I've got to the point I have to make another dish because you got so much leftover corn. So my answer to this is
I'm good for one corn.
Here's my thing with corn, dude. It's really good, but it's a pain in the ass when it's on the cob. It gets all over your face, and in my case, usually my beard and my teeth.
You eating it the long way or no?
Bro, it's just a pain in the ass. I got to go to the dentist after. Shut the do I need to do the chop to you? It's just too much. Yeah, I don't know. Not a fan. I'm like you. I'm good for one. That's it.
But one. I'm not gonna just get 5 pounds of corn in my tray.
This could be the
For
goat.
me, I really like corn.
What do you like about corn?
It's corn. A big corn that knobs, didn't have to choose.
What?
You never heard
What?
what?
I don't know.
You've never
this.
seen that kid?
No, I don't know
Oh
what that
my
is.
God, that was the.
All right, hey, do y'all
That
know
was
that?
viral.
Do y'all know the story about our friend Mr. Taylor Griffin and corn?
No.
Do we want to?
Turtle is afraid of corn. Literally, this is like a legit
Like a cat
phobia.
and cucumbers?
It's a big lump with knobs.
This is like legit phobia for our guy Turtle. Yeah, like if you want to get him to leave, like serve him some corn, he's gonna go home.
So that's all I got to do to get him to leave?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Pro move on the corn. You cut the corn off the cob, post boil, and there's some kind of dip. And we made it after the last one because we had a ton of leftover corn. And it's solid.
Next question comes from Kyle from Golden Meadow. What's your favorite Golden Meadow Mardi Gras parade, and why is it the Crew de Couillons? I mean, he's a sponsor now. We kind of
He's our sponsor. Whatever. What's his parade?
Crew de Couillons.
Crew de Couillons.
100%.
I don't even know which one that is.
Nick Saban out the park, baby.
Not happening.
Which one is that?
Not happening. Sorry, Kyle. Tuesday, Golden Meadow Men's Parade is the GOAT. The LaRose Parades can't finish. And that is the only parade going worth watching.
Yeah, fair enough.
You may have a one-time sponsorship.
One time. I'll say this.
We tell the truth here.
I do admire that Kyle just decided, like, hey, bro, I'm going to just go ahead and start a parade. Like, I think that's really cool. So, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, look, it's something different, but shout out our Mardi Gras crew, or our Dave Fan Mardi Gras crew, since some of folks have retired. But Brock D led our crew for quite some time. And
My
made
answer.
that a whole hell of a lot of fun.
My answer is whatever Mardi Gras parade Turtles getting everybody hyped for. It's my favorite.
That's the parade I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Same
I
float.
agree. So that would be mine.
And look, it could be either as a rider or as a guitar player doing a broom on a porch. Whatever works.
The Friday night women's parade is usually really good too, but I never make it to that one.
Yeah.
Really?
Not since I had my shopping go to Meadow.
That's
I
the
don't
second
think
best parade in our repertoire.
I always have a freaking high school basketball game that night. It's always Friday in the middle of district. John from La Rose wants to know, with the NCAA having NIL money now, will we see kids allowed to go straight to the NBA from high school again? Are you far against that rule now? I don't think that they would go. There's no reason to go because a lot of those high school guys would go pro. They wouldn't be ready. They'd be sent to the G League, whatever it may be. Why not go and be the big man on campus and get all the pretty girls and be a star and be a celebrity and get the money anyway? I think that they could put the rule in, but I think far fewer people would actually do it because of the NIL. Now, look, we see it now where people are choosing to go back to school for their sophomore and junior seasons because they're making $4 or $5 million a year. So why not? If we put the rule in, that's cool, whatever. I'm not for or against. I'm indifferent. But I don't think that it would be executed because I think that people want to go to college now.
Oh, I agree. That's my input. No, I don't think the NBA is ever going to allow that again because there's too much scouting and there's too much time invested into a lot of these folks. I think that's a big part of it. And I just don't think that high school kids are physically ready. I think that 1 year you may go be a one and done type of guy, but I think that year lets you develop in a league that's obviously better than high school.
Yeah.
So here I go again, asking questions instead of answering them. What is the salary of somebody that's the number one pick in the NBA draft?
Number one pick, you probably making like $8-10 million a year, something like that.
Okay. If you would be the number one pick in the draft coming out of high school, you're going to get a big NIL deal.
Probably $4 or $5 million.
Okay, so it's about half.
Yeah.
And the competition's about half.
The season also is half, too. It's like the 530 games.
So you're working less, playing against less talent, and you have the ability to make a ton of money.
And you're a star, big man on campus.
So you're either a big fish in a big pond or a medium fish in a big pond. Still making bank. So I'd say go to college and not go to the pros, even if that's an option.
You brought up the number one pick. The dudes who are like the 15th or 20th pick, they're making more in college. Yeah. I think Angel Reese made a mistake leaving early and going to the WNBA. I think she should have stayed at LSU for another year.
We didn't even touch on that in the podcast
Caitlin.
segment. That's some good stuff that we missed out on.
Yeah, diving into all that with the fights going on in the women's basketball, the supposed fights.
Common foul.
It was a common foul. I'm an Angel Reese fan. I know y'all are Caitlin Clark fan. It was a common foul. Angel Reese needs to chill out with that. John from LaRose wants to know, is Charlie Ward, the Heisman winner and 10-year NBA player, the most underrated athlete of all time? If not, who is? Boy, it's pretty damn hard to argue. You got a dude who was a Heisman Trophy winner running the option at Florida State who just decides, oh, there's no option quarterbacks in the NFL. Bet I'm going to just go play in the NBA forever. And we don't talk about him often as being a dude that's a freak. We mentioned Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson and all these guys. Charlie Ward is a very underrated athlete, John. I agree with you 100%.
So I don't think Charlie Ward specifically got enough, quote unquote, as the kids say, flowers. But I don't know if most underrated ever. I'm having a difficult time thinking of someone that's more underrated than him in the shoes that he's walked in. But I don't know about ever.
Yeah, he was good. He's up there with the best. He was good.
Bruh.
He was good. He was a good quarterback. He was good at basketball. Was he a star in the NBA? Not really.
No, but imagine if Tebow went from winning the Heisman to just being like, all right, bro, after this Broncos thing don't work out, I'm just going to be a power forward for 10 years. Like, no one saw that coming. I didn't see him having a long NBA career.
I'm giving his flowers. Successful career. What wasn't great? He was good.
I guess all these other two-sport stars, obviously, top of the brain, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders.
Danny Ainge.
He's not on that level, which I guess automatically makes him underrated. Because he's done the same thing as those guys. Maybe not at that level.
Was Kyler Murray better? He was the number one overall pick in the NFL draft.
He was supposed to be a dude in baseball. I don't think he ever played pro baseball.
I'm pretty sure he got drafted.
Yeah. He got drafted. They wanted him badly to play pro baseball. He's a good one. The thing with Kyler Murray is I don't think he's a very good quarterback, but other people disagree and think that he is.
He's a good Fortnite player from what I hear.
He was drafted 9th overall in the 2018 MLB draft.
Damn. Yeah. So you're the number 1 overall in one sport, 9 overall. That is pretty impressive. I ain't going to lie.
What about Elway?
Elway was in there. Elway also powdered his way out of Indy to go to Denver. People don't give him enough grief about that. We talk about other people, but Elway gets a pass.
Oh, bro, he spun into the end zone in the Super Bowl.
I've been wanting to ask you guys this, and we talk about freak athletes. You guys worked with boxers. We talk all the time about, could an NBA power forward play tight end, or could an NBA linebacker be a power forward? We talk about all that. The best of the best boxers, they freaking like Floyd Mayweather at his peak, 170-pound dude, ripped to shreds, great stamina. Do they translate to any other sport, or are they just born to be boxers?
It's a good question that correlates into a question that we have later. Mayweather specifically, no. I think the biggest he's fought at was 154 pounds. I don't know what position you put a 154-pound guy at.
He has a soccer type body type.
Yeah. I don't know that he kicks anything other than women sometimes.
You're definitely a Queen fan. Body type.
Oh, my God. Next question is from Joe from By the Popeyes in Raceland, who wants to know, you're down 1 with 3 seconds left. Who's the last person in sports history you want taking the shot? Chop's typing right now. You know, like when you're in an iMessage, you see the little thing that, Chop, I see you typing right now. Who's the least clutch player? I mean, it's...
Whoa. Didn't have to say basketball player, right? Say athlete.
Yeah.
Okay. I have my answer queued up.
If we're not playing basketball, it's Scott Norwood, right? He missed the freaking game-losing Super Bowl field goal. Ray Finkel.
Emmanuel Yarborough from
Jesus
UFC 1.
Christ,
the sumo
look at
fighter,
this dude.
600 pounds, lost to Keith Hackney. I believe that was UFC 1 or 2 very early in those days. That is the last person in professional sports that I would like to take my last second shot.
Look at
what
that
if that
guy.
dude has a sick jump and you just never see him shoot?
He couldn't get it off in 3 seconds. Take him an hour to catch the ball and another 4 hours and a snack to figure out a shoot.
Wasn't he the guy that was chasing down Keith Hackney on that game?
Yeah, he
on that
lost.
match?
He got knocked out.
Yeah, Keith Hackney threw a lucky punch.
Back when UFC was a man sport. Who's y'all answer?
I don't want Jarrett Lee doing anything. And again, this is not we're playing. I'm playing
Right.
football now, but I wouldn't want Jarrett Lee doing anything for me.
That was a guaranteed turnover.
My guy is Chip Lowmiller.
Hey, Chip was legit, man.
Chip shot Lowmiller.
I thought the Saints were getting an absolute stud. He came over from Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved him in Washington. Not so much as a Saint. Yep.
Next question. I like this next question. Olympic flag football, 10 players on the roster. 5 are on the field at a time, no linemen. Who are we taking to win the gold? This question is in reference to the Olympic Committee adopting flag football as a sport and the NFL saying, yep, the studs could play. So who are we sending out there in 2028 to absolutely destroy the rest of the world?
Told you. Did all my homework today. Ready? Quarterback, Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Receivers, I went with 3. I only went with 1 running back. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf,
Ooh.
and at running back, the fastest running back in the league, clocked at 22 miles per hour, Chase Brown of the Bengals.
Y'all laughed at me when I drafted him in the fantasy football draft last year.
Did you win?
Made it to the playoffs. I think I was second. We're not going to talk about
So
Second and you lost?
it. Yeah.
are we drafting the best team right now, or are we fast forwarding to 2028?
I went right now.
Okay.
I didn't really put that much thought.
If it's right now, I think Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Christian McCaffrey in flag football would be insane. But in 3 years, I don't know if he's going to be on the Olympic team. So I would go him as my running back. If I'm going to the future, I'm thinking your boy from Boise, Genty, might be that dude by then. I'm going Burrow also as my quarterback. I'm going Jefferson, Chase, third receiver, CeeDee Lamb, baby. I got to go with my Cowboy. And then defensively, can you imagine the receivers and quarterbacks for like Team Iran and Uzbekistan trying to run from Micah Parsons?
You're
And
going to
like,
be a dude from Iran that calls you and says that you have tax issues
No,
or you're
dude.
getting arrested.
like General Adnan and the Sheik are going to be trying to draw up stuff to keep Micah Parsons off of the quarterback. Dude, it's going to be nasty. We're going to beat the out of everybody. I was concerned, hey, our NFL guys are not going to play, and we're going to go and embarrass ourselves like we did in that tournament. They had a
bad.
football World Cup,
That was terrible.
and we got embarrassed. But once the NFL greenlit the dudes go and play, bruh, can you imagine Team Portugal trying to slow down Burrow, Chase, and who the hell they're going to have?
Shout out to LSU 2019 team.
Baby.
Flag football, is it the rule where if you go 5 seconds or whatever, they can rush?
I don't know exactly how it works, but come on, dude. Like, they know.
Because that changes my quarterback. Because it's either Burrow if there's no rush or JD5 if they can rush. Jaden Daniels. Running back, give me Bijan Robinson. Receivers, I'll go with Chase, Jordan Jefferson, and
Justin, please clarify. Justin. You don't want Jordan
Justin
Jefferson.
Jefferson. Sorry, not Ricky Jefferson either. And I need another receiver. I want to say Neighbors, but no.
CeeDee
Can't do
Lamb,
that.
dude.
Tyreek
Tyreek,
Hill.
yeah.
There we go. As
Tyreek
long as
Hill.
you don't get arrested by the Coast Guard, he's my receiver.
Yeah. Tyreek, that's a good one. I was asked this. Okay, let's say we ran out a team in 2028. Let's say Goodell decided to be an asshole and was like, yeah, you guys, we're not letting the NFL play. If we ran out a team in 2028 of Tom Brady, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, LaDainian Tomlinson,
Ocho.
would our retirees beat Team Italy? Yes,
so.
right? Like T.O.'s on YouTube all the time running 4.40 still today.
Yeah,
Like, there's no contact involved. They're going to still destroy everybody.
a lot of those guys still train daily just because that's their regiment for a decade or two, and they just don't ever stop. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. There were some people on on the interwebs who disagree, like, oh, they washed up. No. Who for Team Britain is guarding Terrell Owens man-to-man? Nobody. The part that they can't do and why they're not in the NFL anymore is that they can't be tackled. Well, this is flag, baby. There ain't no tackling involved. Like, they're still going to run through you.
You have William Regal as the tight end. And Nick, real quick, if a person says and puts on social media, I'm going to do something if I get X amount of likes.
It's coming, dude.
So, luckily, we live in 2025.
It's the embroidery that we're waiting on.
Oh, you have it.
We can get that done.
It's the embroidery.
Every time
that
you
we
mention CD Lamb, I think of CG Just Glad. That's what triggered that memory.
No, I got the cover all. It's the embroidery that we're waiting on. This is Ags by the Thibodeau 7's grandmother. Screw that lady. What is your favorite LSU Tiger football player of all time?
My all-time favorite in the past is Kevin Falk. That guy drew me into being an LSU football fan, a homer, and why I am standing with the team like I am today. Current time, Jaden Daniels. Yeah, guy just brought extra flavor, brought a skill set that LSU's never had before, and getting to see him was something special.
And everybody hating him, I think, made me like him even more. Right? At the beginning, oh, bro, you got to bench him. You got to go to the nuzz buzz, bro.
Yeah, who's
and that may be why I like him so much, because we stood by. And I say we, me and you stood by him. And everybody wanted nuzz buzz, and we got it. And results are.
Same thing with Neighbors. When Neighbors fumbled that punt, what was it, game 1 a couple years ago?
Oh.
Everybody was done
multiple
with this dude.
punts.
Yeah.
Multiple punts.
And then now he's one of everybody's favorites.
And Brian Kelly has been so spooked by that, we haven't returned a punt since. We fair catch every single one of them. We haven't returned a punt since.
Well, we tried. No, that was a kickoff. Early kickoff matchup against Tennessee a couple years ago that I was unfortunately there for.
So me, previous era, and I feel old saying that this dude's a previous era. Chad Jones, baby. Dreadlocks of Doom. That play where Patrick Peterson's waving him into the end zone. It's one of my favorite plays in LSU history.
Baseball starts.
And then the fact that he just decides, I'm an outfielder, but hey, coach, I could pitch and go get these last outs in the World Series. Legend. I wish he wouldn't have gotten a wreck on the way to the freaking NFL draft and screwed up his entire career, because I think he'd have been a freak in the NFL. Modern era, got to be Jamar Chase, dude. But Jamar Chase did kind of bitch out at the end of his career and sat out a year, but he was so good that during it's got to be Jamar Chase for me.
All time, I'd have to go Jacob Hester, who just brought the energy and just the grit to the team. That picture of him just diving over the goal line against Florida, that is ingrained in my memory. Currently, I was trying to go not Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow, but it's hard not to. Those are the 2 Heisman winners.
Dude, I wish so bad that Leonard Fournette would have gotten one of the Burrows or the Daniels. Because I was looking at Leonard Fournette's college stats. He had a stretch of like 4 or 5 games in a row where it's like 270 yards, 230 yards. If he would have had a passing game to where they couldn't just put 11 in the box, he would have been a freak. And I see Murder in the chat saying, Honey Badger, my God.
That was my honorable mention.
Yeah, there's a ton of honorable mentions that could be chatted about here.
Let me real quick before we go to the next question, because I was doing this the other day, and it's going to blow y'all minds as to how ridiculous this is. LSU made it to the national championship game the year that they lost to Alabama in the 21-0 game. Let me read to you the quarterback performances in these games.
I don't even want to hear this.
Jarrett Lee in the opener against Oregon, 98 yards passing. Jarrett Lee against Northwestern State, 133 yards passing. Then Lee caught a burner. He had 213 against Mississippi State, 180 against West Virginia. Mind you, we're scoring 40 and 50 points in all these games. Kentucky, that's Jordan Jefferson's first game back after the 4-game suspension. Lee still the starter, 169. Then against Florida, 154. Then against Tennessee, 138. We're going in the wrong direction here. Auburn, 165. Then the Alabama game, the 9-6 game. Jefferson, the leading passer, with 67 yards. Then against Western Kentucky, Jefferson, now the starter, $168. The Ole Miss game, which LSU won 52-3 and took a knee without scoring again. They could have made it 59-3. That's game Les Miles took knees with 4 minutes left. Jefferson had 88 yards passing, just a banner day. Arkansas, 208 for Jefferson. Then how about this? Won the SEC championship 42-10 with your leading passer having 30 yards passing. Jefferson had 30 yards passing in that game. You win the SEC championship by 32 points. Jefferson in that game was 5 of 13 passing for 30 yards and a touchdown. How in the hell did that team go 13-0? Oh, because the Honey Badger was running every punt back for a touchdown. Then in Alabama, Jefferson has 53 yards and you get beat 21-0.
Real quick on honorable mention, Josh Reed got to be up there. That guy was a freaking stud.
Always open.
Demetrius Byrd. Herb Tyler for me was a big one. Eddie Kennison, we mentioned earlier. Brad Wing. How can you not like Brad Wing?
Brad Wing.
It's story time.
Can I tell you guys a Brad Wing story?
Sure.
Y'all know why he went pro after his junior year? Everybody was wondering, why the hell is that guy going pro? Take a guess.
Too much drinking?
He had a 0.0 GPA. He wouldn't have been eligible. He had an F on literally every single class. Didn't go to class at all.
Current day, Weeks, Ali Broussard, Glenn Dorsey. I mean, that's some freaking studs. Joseph Adai. How good was he?
So
got LaRon Landry, Skylar Green, Chad Lavallee. That's some freaking
Lavallee.
studs,
That was
man.
an animal.
Craig Stelz. Stelz was a freaking dog.
Xavier Carter.
Track star.
Talk about overrated.
Yes.
That guy took a knee on the one.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my God.
Yes, he did.
He was good on NCAA 2010 or whatever it would have been.
I like this one from Derek Cutoff. If you could have had any one local athlete to train to become a boxer, who would it have been and why? You guys are the boxing guys. You had your answer off the air. Is it the same? Has your opinion changed in the last 2 hours?
Shout out Nigel Bourne. Dude was a freaking stud. Worked the mitts with that guy. He had hammers in his fist. Could have been something if he would have stuck with it. As I think 14 years old, we traveled to Missouri for the ringside national tournament that he made. I think he only had 8 fights. Fought a guy from Seattle, had like 1,000 fights. Ended up losing. I think that got to him. And what could have been, man. Shout out Nigel Bourne, my guy. Now we meet up at Boogie's and he threatens to fight everybody for me, which is fantastic to have. And I enjoy that.
Nick?
I'm drawing blanks. I mean, we were in a boxing gym, but there was, if you wanted to box, you showed up in box.
So think about that answer for a little bit, Nick. I'll talk about another guy that was in the gym for a period of time was Glenn Hughes.
Yeah.
Really good football player.
That's Dre's uncle.
He had some boxing lineage to his name. He was pretty solid as well, but just another guy that didn't stick with. You know who would have been really good? Harvey Allen.
I bet. Oh, my God, I
Corbin,
bet.
too.
Yes. Both of those guys.
Like, Harvey was at his peak athletically like 150 pounds. So he would have been in a small weight class, would have been strong as an ox, fast as hell. Oh, yeah, I could see that. I could see him being a big problem.
Another guy off the top of the dome, Terrence Hilario, tough as nails type of guy, not afraid of anything. I got it. I see on a weekly basis, Lance Reynolds, and there's another one, just tough guys, man.
Bruce Lee.
Nobody could hit him in the face, so that's
don't
a
get
start.
hit.
He's
you
undefeated. Undefeated as an amateur boxer.
Next question. This from Big Steven Cutoff. Oh, boy. What happens first? All the inmates in New Orleans are caught or the Golden Meadow Bridge is reopened? Told the bridge is about 3 months away. So that means it's about 6 months away. Will all the inmates be caught in 6 months?
Yeah, definitely. But the bridge in Golden Meadow's opening in 3 months or whatever?
Said about 3 months. The part Shaws is supposed to come in this
I thought
week.
they were just done with it. I thought they just gave up.
Can we get an over
That's
on that
still
actually
what I
happening?
say. I still think it's never going to reopen. But if you go by what our lawmakers are saying, the little part that they were waiting on is coming to Louisiana this week. Then after that, it's about 3 months. Did I ever tell you guys the secret about this? Is that if it ever does reopen, this is a real thing, y'all. It'll only be reopened for like a month or two because they're going to have to close it to paint the bridge. Something that they could have been doing for the last 3 years. There's a project in place. This is a real story. Call Joe Ogeron. Once the bridge reopens, it's going to only be open for about a month or two. Then they're going to have to close it down again to sandblast and paint the bridge. That is a true freaking story.
Shout out the plant, bro.
Saw somebody went to the White House and screamed at President Trump to take care of that Golden Meadow Bridge.
Yeah. I need to pull. So Nick shouted out this lady. This is from the front lawn of the White House.
I told my mama that if I saw Trump at the White House, I'd give him a special message. So here's the White House. Here's me. Trump, fix the Golden Meadow Bridge.
I thought that was pretty clever.
That's good stuff.
The lady
I told my
is
mom-
on TikTok, Pink, Pink 3400. If you want to give her a follow, shout out the Golden Meadow love.
That's good stuff.
And I also heard someone say, Curtis Oshaw.
So talk about him. There was a meme put in one of our bigger group chats of the inmates, all their mugshots, and he was at the bottom.
What you doing on our street, Curtis Oshaw?
Oh, isn't it such a troll that the inmates pulled out the little toilet and then wrote in graffiti "too easy" with a smiley face? Just rubbing it in one last time. Nick, did you ever have any escape plans when you were visiting the facility?
Wasn't there long enough, but if I was there another day, I might have had some escape plans drawn up.
So we're all going. Inmates are going to all be captured, right?
Yeah. Are they still at 3?
Only 5 have been caught, so that
5,
means
okay.
we still got 5. How about this? The freaking police chief or whatever says they got information that all 5 of them are still in New Orleans.
Why?
How? Not right. How could you still be in town? That was
out
like
of
a
town.
week ago. Leave.
I'm going to blend in.
No, you're not.
I mean, yes, they are.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, before we go to the next question, let's play a little game.
Sure.
We talked about the New Orleans inmates and not little games. Let's just play a game.
Sure.
So
We got 5 of them.
Jermaine, Antoine, Linton, Leo, and Derek still at large. Who gets captured next?
Go. Jermaine.
Antoine.
These are all last
Definitely
names.
Antoine.
No, these are first names. Jermaine,
Definitely Antoine.
Antoine, Linton, Leo, or Derek. Next, who's going to get captured next?
Derek.
Just for knowledge purposes, Linton's last name is Van Buren. So if you're a Seinfeld guy, you got to watch out for them Van Buren boys. The 4 that were captured, the Kinnan, Robert, Gary, and Kendall have been captured and brought back to Louisiana State Penitentiary.
And they've all been sent to Angola, by the way, which that ain't a good time. Like we were talking about a second ago, how can you still be in Louisiana?
What's your end game for this situation? You escape jail. You can never live a normal life again.
Have you watched the movie? You can do whatever you want.
They're all awaiting trial for bad stuff, like murder and stuff. So now you're going to lose that. Whether you're innocent or not, you're going to lose that. You're going to have on top of this escape charge. You're not smart enough to get on a plane and go to a place with no extradition, but you're still in freaking New Orleans. You're right. What is your end game? I have no idea what they're thinking.
What was your end game, Nick?
Or when I went to jail.
What was that like? Talk to us about that.
It wasn't bad. It was like a very bad vacation.
So it was like being in
Branson,
Branson.
Missouri. What was worse, OPP or Branson? Missouri?
Definitely OPP. I slept probably 20 hours a day. I didn't eat at all because there's no bidets in prison. I watched a lot of NBA games.
Were there guys betting like drugs and stuff on the games?
Oh, there was a lot of drugs.
That's what they say.
There was a lot of cooking in the shower, which,
like steaming vegetables in the
steaming, wetting bread, putting spaghetti in the bread, wrapping it up in a bread bag, and putting it in the shower to cook.
What?
This is gonna have to be a whole segment.
I don't
Nick's
even
jail
understand
story.
how that's even possible or how that could possibly be good. And they would crush up Doritos and put it in there too.
Crushing up Doritos on anything is good, but
a
bread
doughy
with
spaghetti sandwich with Doritos in it.
steamed in the shower, the jail shower.
Yeah. They would just wrap it up tight in the bag, put it in the shower, and just run hot water on it till it's cooked.
Did you call someone every day? How'd that work?
No, I didn't know any phone numbers. Somehow I remembered Damien and I was the office number, and I called Kef one day, and I was like, "Hey, bro, what's up?"
Just a chat.
Yeah. And I just remembered my mom's house phone, but she had like the rotary dial or whatever, and like you needed a touch tone thing.
Oh, that sucks.
So
God,
I called
that sucks.
Janelle, my sister,
She
and
teed you up.
she got in touch with my mom for me. But like they wouldn't let me have my cell phone to call any numbers.
You don't say. They
But they could at least like let you look at the numbers.
Let's talk about why I was in jail. Had a unpaid speeding ticket that I thought got fixed by some dude who was running for some in St. Charles Parish that I worked with. Never got it fixed, and got in a fight for Mardi Gras. And cops checked my whatever. I had a warrant for my arrest. Thought I was just going in, signing a paper, and getting out.
Oh, no.
Turned out to be a week.
During Mardi Gras.
St. Charles Parish couldn't pick me up because Mardi Gras was going on. They couldn't send anybody to OPP, so I made a vacation out of it.
You got a question from John. How long was Nick in jail?
I think it was 5 days total.
It's a long stretch,
dude. That's brutal.
So I had to go to court after, and like this was a couple weeks after. Went to court. I was in front of the judge, and like the judge said, "So how long you spent in jail?" I said 5 days. He's like, "Man, get out of here. You did enough."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Ah, cool, thanks."
All right. So you said you watched a lot of NBA. Obviously, there's probably like a big open area everybody can hang out. Is there like a curfew? Hey, we're locking out up at like 10 p.m.
I didn't wait for the curfew out. After the game I was watching was finished, I'd just go lay down and hopefully sleep. It would make the time pass a lot faster.
Damn.
But it's like a courtyard almost, but inside. So it's like jail cells on one side, jail cells on the other side. Open area with picnic tables and TVs that you can just sit around. There was a shower in the back. But if you go shower, there was no curtains. You were just basically on stage in front of everybody else.
Ugh.
Yeah, so.
Anybody try to befriend you?
I mean, there were some guys that were like kind of like took care of me, but they were like, "Bro, you don't belong in here."
So that was before you coached travel basketball? Because I kind of figured you'd know some folks.
Should have did some recruiting in there.
Oh, that's messed up. I like this next question. It comes from Scott from New Orleans, not Scott Alexander. And it's also not from not Scott Alexander, which would be me. If it's 4th and 2 from the 4 and you're playing NCAA, there's 8 seconds left. You're down 3. Are you kicking the field goal and going for the tie? Or are you trying to go for the touchdown? If you're going for the touchdown, what's your go-to play to get it? That's a great question.
Ties are for sissies. I'm going for the touchdown. I got 2 plays, but there's still a chance that we're going to be in an online dynasty with each other, even though we probably won't.
Yeah, Nick, what are your plays, dude?
But I'm going halfback direct out of the shotgun. I feel like that's the old Aaron Brooks, Deuce McAllister play, where Aaron Brooks pretends the ball goes over his head and just snaps the Deuce.
That's just the Saints center being terrible and just snapping it wayward.
Either that or a load option. That's hard to stop.
Good to know.
To the strong side of the field.
What I want to know is, do I have a timeout? Because I'm pretty sure I could get 2 yards for sure running a inside zone and pick up the first down, get to like the 1. And then from there, I could run like a sneak or something and get in.
That's a load option because the load option is probably going to take you to the sideline. So you can always get out if you need to.
Yeah. So if I don't have a timeout, then I'm probably doing some sort of outside run, or I'm probably going to go shotgun, spread it out, and send every one of the receivers via hot route on outs. And just try to find runs from the 4.
Jeez.
Little short outs. Like they'll curl right at the end zone.
2014 college football game, I'm kicking.
Kicking? Because offense was harder.
Well, no, I could actually kick.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
This game, I cannot kick to save my life, so not happening. I'm going, man, the option's really, really hard to stop before the upgrades or whatever. Now it's a little bit difficult. Probably go a little slant route in the hopes I could dump it off to a flat or take it in for the score if you got a running quarterback.
Like, I like what you said with the direct snap or the jet sweeps and stuff. But there are some plays where DN just blows you up and you lose yards. That's what scares me about those on 4th down. That's a good question, Scott.
And one thing about why I would run the ball, like hopefully I'd have timeout. That would help out a lot. My quarterback rating inside the 10 is 0. Since I've been playing this game, probably about 200 interceptions to maybe 2 touchdowns. So I'm not throwing the ball.
I have a dynasty right now with Hawaii. I'm on like year 7 or 8. Every year, just about, my quarterback usually ends up with like 40, 45 touchdowns and like 10 picks. What? Almost all of those 10 picks are in the red zone. Almost all of them.
I get 20 picks a season.
Really?
Yeah.
So I throw short passes. I don't stretch the field, like little conservative dink and dunk stuff, but almost all of my turnovers are in the red zone. So I'm with you there. Tommy, we had this one, and I was hoping to see you chime in. You may have in the comments, and I just didn't see.
Playing NCAA 25 or
Yeah.
Some kind of at least 4-wide shotgun crossing route with my 2 slots.
See, I do a lot of that stuff too, but I would have in 4th and 2, I'd probably go 4 wide and run the ball up the middle. Spread them out, run the ball up the middle.
You don't get stuffed a lot when you try to run that inside zone play.
No, maybe I just got a good offensive line.
Inside zone, like that nose tackle just for some reason eats. And if he gets picked up, there's always that line. Because on the slot crossing routes now, one of them has that choice route, and he gets stopped in the middle.
Jonah wants to know, I love your random discussions. Talk about a random South Lafourche Biddy basketball player that you enjoyed coaching. Jonah also added, I didn't put this on the list, said, I will be asking you to list more random people in random sports in the future. So Jonah likes the randomness of our show. Name a random South Lafourche Biddy basketball player you enjoyed coaching. I got a few.
There's no way to name just one.
Donovan Hines.
Go Shoes.
That's a good selection.
Kid that was living in Grand Isle. His mother, I believe, worked for the Coast Guard.
Yep, I think so.
So they came from, where'd they come from? It was not Louisiana.
Indiana,
something like that. We all coached the same age group. We were all kind of competitive in terms of wanting to win. And the first game of the season, we see this young man who has these bright gold shoes who could really play. And the little giants in us, we were like, hey, that kid's playing for the wrong team. Movie quote there.
They tried to get him.
Do y'all remember Donovan in All-Stars when we would have like a big lead when we were playing the white team, whatever, trying to dunk in games and was not that far off? I know the mom used to be on Facebook. I don't think I have her anymore. But I wonder what he's up to these days. He'd be around that Terrence Petrie age, probably as a freaking star receiver. But he said that he liked acting and stuff too. So I could also see him being a movie star or something somewhere too. Had a ton of charisma. Donovan Hines, my answer, all day.
Core memory from Donovan was our last game. Everybody knew that he was going to be moving.
He was so sad.
Wherever that was. The team got him
San
a ball.
Diego, I think.
And I got the free songs telling this story. After our last game at Nationals, very emotional locker room, knowing that he was going to be out. And knowing it was the last game that we were playing into the season, but then knowing that he was going to be gone and on to the next venture for the Coast Guard with his mom. That was some interesting times.
He said to us, we've lived a bunch of places, but you guys are the first ones that felt like family. And when a freaking 8-year-old or 10-year or whatever says, like, that's really cool.
Yep,
so
that was legit.
Sucked that he had to move away. I wish he could have grown up with the rest of the crew here.
I'm going to list 6. That come to the forefront of my head. It might be 7. So when I first started, Terrence, Meathead, Buddy, 3 extremely – Buddy Fonseca, he doesn't play anymore, but 3 extremely special kids that I developed a really good relationship with. And now I got 4 kind of road dogs that roll with me. And that's going to be L.A. Guidry, Kinsley Terrebonne, and Leighton Full-Love, Adam LaFleur. And then my last guy, I got to give him a special shout out because I know senior year came back to basketball after taking a couple years off is Peyton Hebert.
Oh, yeah.
Peyton's a dog, man.
Got my graduation card from Peyton today. It was addressed to Coach Casey. Say, hell yeah, baby.
That list of kids that I just rattled off, and I know I'm missing a bunch. You got Landon Araby at Edie White right now. That's just A-plus kids. Not super basketball players, but super character players.
I had the fortune of coaching Terrence when he was so young that he was literally afraid to shoot. Remember when we had him on the B team in U8, he was like 4. We were telling Terrence, go shoot. The other team's in the box, like, go shoot. But I'm not open, Coach Casey. You're wide open, dude. Go shoot. And now one of the best players in the area by far.
By the time we ended our time with him, like 8 years old, he didn't need us anymore. He could have coached.
Nope, 100%. Let's say
I mean, you can't just name one person. I'm struggling because there's so many. Like you got Terrence Petrie. Okay, we all coached some awesome kid, stud. Then me and Casey coached the team together with Terrence on it. we were probably together for 3 months, but it seems like years when you like just looking back at the memories and all. We had
Dude, Nick Coleman was a bitty superstar that
Victor
year.
Nelson, Blaze Mayberry, Evan Louvier, like that whole group. I stayed with Blaze and Evan for years, coaching them, and like that's some of my favorite kids I've ever coached. There's Caden Orman, Chris Colley, like there's some good kids now that I like to coach. My son Victor St. Pierre. There's so many kids that we have coached at some point that every year you find 2 or 3 more kids, or maybe even more, that, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite kids I've ever coached. And
absolutely. I look to even go further back in time, whenever I really, really first started getting involved, kids like Seth Bourne, Drew Rios, Brock Bayou picked up basketball really late. That was an absolute stud. Cody Bourne, all those guys definitely left lasting impact on me.
Yep.
As a coach.
And the team I just finished, kind of got a 12-year-old B team trying to beat 12-year-old A teams and all-stars, and we didn't do very good. But there's some kids on that team that just coaching them, you could see them grow. And like William Griffin has no confidence in himself, and I'm pumping him up the whole all-star season. I'm like, dude, you're going to be the starting point guard for LCO in 2 years. And he's like, oh, no. I tried to put him at point guard, and he did not want to play point guard. So I'm working with him. I'm like, I need you to play point guard. I need to give my point guard a break. And he didn't want to do it. And I'm like, you are going to be the point guard at LCO in a couple of years. Tell whatever's telling you that you can't do it, you need to tell that to kiss off.
Yeah.
You are going to be that good. And by the end of the season, his mom posted on Facebook of him playing in the Alpha Omega League, kids dominating out there. And it's like, that's my guy.
Look,
love that kid.
Another one with these kids that are about the same age group. There's nothing as a coach that used to fire me up more than when we would pass the ball on the wing and John David Guidry would make a 3 and he would airplane all the way down the court. A lot of times he would make it at a big momentum time, so they're calling timeout, and then he's spiraling his airplane up and down. Oh, there's nothing that would get
and his pregame wardrobe.
Dressing up, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Wearing the suits. Heck yeah.
How about our heels team that we didn't think was going to be much, that came on really, really strong?
Yeah. 2 guys like I just named.
Ashton Guidry, a guy that came
Gage Melisson.
Gage, who had Barrett Revet on that team. I could rattle that.
Wasn't
Alex Freelander was on that team.
Wasn't
Coleman.
Your cousin, Merrick, right?
Yep. Merrick, spin shot, Merrick. It's awesome. Who we had besides Coleman that was our other stud?
Evan. And
Evan, yeah.
Evan's going to be the president of the United States someday. I remember him always, yes, sir, no, sir, super polite. If you tell Evan to jump through the glass backboard, he's going to try. But I remember one practice, I think it was in 9 and 10, he kind of calls me in, and I'm thinking like something's wrong. Like, hey, Evan's not feeling well. Like, Evan wouldn't be getting my attention. Calls me, hey, Coach Case, come see me, man. What's up, Evan? I said, hi, yeah. Pelicans beat the Rockets the other day. I'm getting hard and hate even from my point guard. What's going on? So Evan does like to rib you a little bit at times. That was
another kid that we didn't mention is our neighbor, Cameron Gisclair.
Yep.
We were big wrestling fans at the time. Cameron was a big 8-year-old wrestling fan at the time, and we connected. We talked a lot of wrestling with that kid.
For whatever reason, we had all of the boys at your old shop in Golden Meadow after a tournament or whatever. And I remember they were all playing flag football or something in the little lobby, just killing each other. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, we're about to get sued. Just going at one another. Great group of kids. Do y'all remember when we had Terrence and DJ and them and we played TPR in the finals of the Lockport tournament? And in the first quarter, we were beating them like 22-4. And DJ makes a 3 in the corner while kids tackling him. And it goes in, gets a 4-point play. Well, we were going nuts. And then Terrebone's like, yeah, it's enough of losing to y'all. We're going to just go ahead and put you on the box.
Remember, there was one Terrebonne guy directly across from where our bench was, and he was talking shit in our parent section. We were talking shit back because we thought we had this game.
Dude,
Did we?
I did. But I remember at halftime, I told I was all the kids were all
tied
dancing
at halftime,
around.
probably.
No, it wasn't. We were up by probably 20-something at halftime.
Not at half.
No, not at half. No.
And I told those kids, if you don't think this team's coming back with their best punch, you were crazy.
That second
Sit
quarter
down, let's get
lineup
ready to go.
was a little shaky. I made the lineups that year, yeah. It didn't end well.
Hey, it was a great 6 minutes of basketball.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Nick, tell them about how nervous you were before we played Slidell at Nationals.
Oh, my God. We were a pretty good team, but there's some teams out there that were just much better than us.
The Slidell Pelicans, basically.
We win our first 2 games at Nationals unexpectedly. Weren't expecting to win these matchups. Like, we were the underdog in both of them. We won both of them. And then we are in the semifinals of Nationals having to play against a team that just 50-pieced us 2 weeks ago. And, like, everybody on Facebook's pumping us up, just like, oh, man, good luck. I hope y'all win. We're going to be watching. I'm like, oh, bro, that's the team that just beat us by 50. Everybody's watching now. We posted so many pictures and made it look like everybody's pumped up about us that we're going this far. And I know what's waiting for us at that Thibodeau gym. And it turned out exactly how I was expecting. But early that whole day, I was sick to my stomach, just nervous, kind of worried, and kind of knowing what was going on. But maybe we're better than we had played a couple weeks ago. Maybe we could beat this team. And it went exactly how I expected it to go.
Yeah, didn't go our way.
Hey, so real quick before we move on, I think we got a couple questions left. Scott Freeland in the chat. Greatest biddy game ever.
All right, so there's 2 for me right out the gate.
I know 1. That's where I'm going with.
The Heels against Ashton and them.
Happy birthday, Ashton.
Yeah, talking about your close loss. You were involved in one, too, with Blaze and them against Victor and them.
Yeah,
that was a great game, too. I was not involved in that. That was an awesome
glad
game.
You caught that on video.
Yeah.
Randomly, you at the youth center videoing the end of that game.
Victor, I thought, was going to make a half-court shot at the buzzer and beat y'all.
I thought for sure we were fouling them.
Basically, that game that we got an opportunity to coach, there were probably 30 people in the stands, but I felt like there were 1 million people in the stands.
Coleman's fouled out.
I think Evan may have been fouled out as well. And the time that those kids put in, we were able to develop a third ball handler, and it was
Gage
awesome.
and Ashton were handling the ball.
It was awesome to watch. And then, unfortunately, the only referee that was there was Bruce Lee, so we had to deal with that, which is why all our kids fought out, I'm sure. But to be able to hold on with a talented team like Coach Ashton had at the end, putting pressure on us was pretty cool. Big moment for them kids.
Look, it's not a memorable memory for us, but we blew a 30-point lead in the 4th quarter.
Against Harahan. Couldn't break a press.
Yep. I'm sure that the people watching that thought that was an entertaining game. Wasn't as fun for us. And the other thing about that Harahan game, Nick, is not that we blew the lead, is that, yeah, they were getting steals. Yeah, we couldn't break a press. They were also making like fadeaway 18-footers, and everything that they threw up went in.
There was a point during that game where I was like, maybe if we just inbound the ball, just throw it as far as we can, that would kill some time off the clock.
It's like a punt.
That game may have helped us at Nationals because it was a couple weeks before Nationals, and we figured out who can handle the ball, who can't handle the ball.
That's easy.
Yeah. We put it in Victor Nelson's hands, and he figured it out.
There was their game at All-Stars at one of the tournaments that I shot this year that went to like double overtime, and it was Deuce team. They made buzzer beater to send it to overtime and a buzzer beater to send it to double overtime. Then they kind of gassed out. That was really good.
I think they ended up beating them the next day, I believe. That was Coach Deuce's 10U girls team and then Coach Mike's 10U East Bank team. Real cool moment the year that I choked at Nationals in the championship game. The game to get there, we were down 1 against Acadiana. Look, we were stacked too. It was the Ida year where boundaries were open. So they had a couple kids from TPR. We had a couple kids from TPR. We were down 1 with maybe 8 seconds left, and we fouled, put them at the line. Back then it was 1-1. The little girl misses the front end of the 1-1. We barely box out. I'm having a heart attack because we got an opportunity to get a shot up, and we almost don't box out. And we do this drill. We call it 4-man fast break every single practice. And we ran that drill to a T. I believe Vivian Martin caught the rebound. Outlet to Emmy. She goes down the court. Kinsley spacing out exactly how she's supposed to. They get it to her on the left wing, and there's a huge center that's protecting the rim, and Kinsley pretty much goes underneath her to make the layup. And it wasn't at the buzzer because we had to make a defensive stop, but we ended up doing it, and that was one of the coolest moments there, and that put us in the national championship game that I choked.
Man. What's the most clever troll/heckle you have ever heard someone chant at a sporting event? This is from Mike from Galliana.
Go ahead.
Paul! I hope you get pink eye. Paul, I hope you get an ingrown toenail. This was the Jamboree Circa 2011. Our guy Nigel just laying into our guy Paul,
who was a actual referee during the football game.
My two favorite. You're getting sick over there?
No, I'm screaming at Paul and I'm throwing out my voice.
So my two favorite both come from South Lafourche football games, sitting in the stands. One of them, South Lafourche was playing South Plaquemine at South Plaquemine.
So I was there.
And we had a fan that repeatedly shouted, "Shoot the linebackers."
Why?
I don't know.
He was trying to get the coach to blitz the linebackers.
I gotcha.
But shoot the linebackers in this day and age,
it was awesome. So my second favorite was at a South Lafourche Jamboree.
The same one.
Central was playing McMain, as they always did.
They absolutely were not playing McMain, but that's just what we said.
They were playing McMain. And the Central person, for whatever reason, I guess because we were talking trash, turns around and shouts at us. And I say us, I think it was us three there. Home run, out the park, go Nick Saban.
Nick Saban out the park. Because all Central Lafourche fans are huge Alabama fans.
That's what's in my head. And my number 3 on the list comes from a travel basketball game during the COVID time period. It was an official that had a mask that was altered to be able to fit his whistle in there. And it looked a little awkward. Guy made some questionable calls. One of my parents lets him know, hey, if you take the off your face, you may be able to actually call the game.
Love it.
That was another solid one.
And that's a great parent, by the way. I know exactly who you're talking about. He's going to know the story. I'm telling you, you're an awesome parent.
Yep. Everybody needs one of those guys on their team.
100%.
Mine would be from the Saints game, probably circa 2011.
This is Keg's favorite story.
We're sitting in the club section like some fancy boys, and Saints are on defense, struggling. The other team's just marching the ball down the field. We're putting up zero fight defensively.
That's per the norm.
And some lady stands up and yells, "Come on, Colston, do something." Okay. So we are on defense. Marcus Colston, receiver. And then eventually this lady left, and I let her know that I didn't appreciate her being around us.
I thought you said something like automatically to her.
I might have. Probably did.
Have to get Keg on to give some credibility to that story.
And my all-time favorite fan heckle at any basketball game, when it's quiet, just yell, "Clock!" You'll never see somebody working the clock panic more than if somebody just yells, "Clock!"
Yeah.
I might try that this weekend.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I love when it happens during Summer League and the fans wrong. Like, dude, it's running time. Relax. Clock! What's the slowest you've gone while traveling on 308 from down the bayou to Highway 90? This is from Kenny from Valentine. Oh, my God. They killed Kenny.
I drive 308 every day, going to and from Houma or Gray. I truly believe that there are people that wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning,
scooching in
specifically to drive
piss off
under
the
the speed limit.
100%.
What makes this even better is during sugarcane season, there's tractors.
Oh, this pisses me off so bad.
Tractors are 15 miles an hour max, and there's nowhere to get off the road. And then when there is opportunity to get off the road, we're good. Tommy, what's the legality of tractors on a highway?
Some tractors are highway legal.
But shouldn't you have to hit like a requirement of speed?
6 miles an hour.
You were going 7 miles an hour, officer. Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to say everything twice?
Yeah, the comfort level with the viewers would probably work on that.
Understood. I do know that tractors have street legalness and they have their own set of requirements. Unfortunately, I am not abreast of the exact specifications for tractor travel, but you might have a solid argument if they're going abnormally slow, and what they usually tend to do is cause road rage in the people behind them, which leads to phone calls for me. So I will sit this one out.
The biggest thing that I liked about COVID was not having to commute every day, because Damien, you are right. The freaking tractors are unbearable. And what you just said was so profound. They have chances to get off on the side and let you pass, and they just don't give a whatsoever. And that is beyond annoying. And that was the only positive about COVID, was that I ain't got to deal with y'all anymore. And then now we learned, hey, it actually works better when you're working from home, so I've never had to commute again.
So Tyrus said, if you have an orange triangle on the back, you could go as slow as you want. I disagree. Have some freaking human decency and don't be an ass and let people by. Somebody has somewhere to go. It might not be sugarcane fields, but Jesus Christ, that's frustrating.
Don't be an ass. Let people pass.
There you go.
Put that on a bumper sticker, dude.
There's no hope with dope.
So I think I'm the only one that went to Nichols at this table. And
Shout
if
out
you go to
Nichols.
Nichols, that morning commute from Cutoff or whatever down the bar to
That's gotta be
Thibodeau,
brutal, dude.
nothing but sugarcane trucks in your way the
Yes.
whole time. If you have a 8:30 class and you think of Thibodeau's 45 minutes away and you're going to leave an hour before, you're going to be late to class every single time. And you're going to have sugarcane all over your vehicle too, windshields.
I've developed a strategy of people who not to stay behind. Oversized trucks, could be dualies, could be jacked up trucks. You think those type of folks would drive a little faster? They don't. Anybody with a nickel sticker, do not follow those people because they're going to go 10 under. And obviously 18-wheelers and really, really oversized vehicles. Avoid all of that. And then you're still going to get behind somebody that's not going the speed limit. It's frustrating. My heart is 100% full right now, seeing all these athletes that I've been a part of their journey, making the high school teams. And I've only seen a couple so far. Johnny Lee's one of those. And now the girls are starting to hit the social media waves. I've seen Alea Guidry. I'm seeing Kinsley Terrebonne. That is freaking awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. That's really
And
cool.
I got a text yesterday from Claire that said, hey, Terrence made the South Lafourche team. I was like, man, I'm so proud
He
of
was
that
on
kid.
the fence, bro.
So proud of you, Terrence. Good job.
So thanks to everybody for sending a question. Thanks to the Lafourche Concert and Events Club for sponsoring our Not Mott's Mailbag. And thanks to you guys for sending your questions. We're going to do this again next Wednesday. Hopefully we have another loaded up Not Mott's Mailbag sponsored by the Lafourche Concert and Events Club. So for the crew here at the One More Round Studios and the Group Chat Podcast, you've been listening to our Mailbag. Y'all take care. We'll be back next week.